Hi, hey, my name is David Swan. I'm the CTO here at LINQ. In this video I want to run through some of the insights, the basic insights that you can get out of the new cost allocation capability. I stepped through the basics of cost allocation in two earlier videos, and I strongly recommend you take a look at those before diving into this one, otherwise I suspect you'll get a little confused. In this example I'm going to be using a sketch that is available to you if you go to the Explorer, pull the gallery up if it's dismissed like that, go to the Learning Link tab, and let's open the cost allocation template into your canvas. First thing to note, warnings. Your sketch has no warnings, and it's important that that's the case before you start getting into insights. Let me just show you a little example. If I drop a capture action in, and it's got a little information supply chain, then you'll see that it's generated quite a few little warnings quite quickly. And that's because, well, look, I'm missing some descriptions, and it's quite important that you've got a complete sketch, and a complete sketch must involve descriptions being written in. And there's not a lot of point in doing cost allocation if you've got actions which don't have a cost either calculated in or written in. So if you see any of those warnings, get rid of as many as you can before doing the insights. But of course you're starting from a gallery sketch, so you won't have that problem. Let's gain access to the insights panel by just clicking on the right hand side here. First things first, let's make sure that we know whether we're using value-weighted cost allocation or reuse-weighted cost allocation. See earlier videos, but please be consistent. The allocated costs will change according to the weighting that you're using, and try and be consistent. Let's dismiss that. It's value-weighted is the default, and it's what we recommend. So let's dismiss that. So let's go to the first tab. There are three little dots down here which represent the three tabs. Let's start with the executive summary. And this is summarizing the sketch. In this sketch, you've got 5 information outputs. Let's just center that. You've got 5 information outputs shown with little bars across. You've got 9 actions. Count them up, you can see for yourself. Each of those 9 actions has a written-in cost of 10,000, just for simplicity, and so 9 times 10,000, 90,000 total cost of all actions within the sketch. And this graphic here shows how that 90,000 of costs is allocated out to the various information outputs. If you want to see that in tabular form, use the little table icon down here, and that will show you that in detail. And so this is immediately enabling you to answer the question, is the cost of my information outputs aligned to the value that is being realized from them? And right away we see information output 1 has a value-weighted cost allocation of $22,667, and yet it's only got a business value index of 2. I would want to be taking a look at that, because it contrasts with information output 5, which has a business value index of 10. That's something that's critical to the business, and its value-weighted cost allocation is only 13,333. So, basic insights, step 1. We go over to the second tab. We go over to the information cost breakdown, and what we've got to do is select an output node. So let's select information output 1, which you'll remember is one we had a few questions about because it's got a business value index of 2, and yet it's costing us a lot of money. And this begins to explain why. Let's just open the table again because it makes it slightly clearer. If we look down the value weighted cost allocation down here, this is what makes up the costs associated with information output 1. Right away we see that processes 8 and process 9 are both contributing $20,000 of that cost. Why? Because they're only supporting that information output 1. Right there is a probable let's get rid of that information output 1, or at least question why on earth we're spending so much money on processes 8 and 9. And right there, if we eliminated just the 2 lots of 10,000, we've dropped information output 1 down quite dramatically. So that's the second set of insights. The third tab is all about then looking at what information outputs are being supported by a particular action. So if we look at capture 1 all the way down here, you'll see that this is how the $10,000 cost of capture 1 is being allocated out to the different outputs. So really this is telling you who should be paying for each of the elements of that capture cost. Okay, and again in tabular form. And once again we get to see that capture 1 is actually quite nicely reused. It's used by all of the information outputs. So that's really what we want to see, as opposed to process 5, which is only used to support information output 5, but that's fine because that's a value of 10. But once again, we zoom in on processes 8 and 9, which cost a lot of money and are only supporting that very discretionary information output. Hope that makes sense. You might notice that each of the tables has this little export button. If you click on that, you're going to get an export in an excel.xlsx format, which will be downloaded into your downloads folder. You can then use that to bring these results into any other reporting application, or maybe you want to do further analytics. Entirely up to you, but that export button is your friend. That's a very brief explanation of the first tranche of direct insights from cost allocation. Got any questions, please check out our website www.linq.it or our support site support.linq.it, where there are plenty of articles that will go into more depth about cost allocation. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.